Oh, okay. All right. So now it's recording. Okay. It's on.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna get started because I think it should be about because I don't have my watch on me, but it should be just about 7, I believe.
It's like five
7,
two.
5 of yeah. So we'll get everybody an opportunity to come on that are going to be joining us this evening. We're just about ready for the uh, brand new development series brought to you by the Black Professional Men, of course, and J&F Enterprises. Tonight, we're going to just have a great time discussing branding for the entrepreneurs and the business owners and organizations that'll be listening in tonight, and then also hopefully during the replay too, as well, because we want to take this opportunity to enlighten, empower, and impact you for your business in 2018, giving you those tools, giving you the knowledge and information and resources that you can use to be able to take your business, take your brand, and your take your business, use your business and your brand to that next level that you want to get to. No matter what level you're on, you can take it to that next level and decide and understand where it is where you are, and then also understand where it is that you're trying to get to in that next level. So we want to welcome everybody. And as you're coming in, um, you can, if you're going to have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section there. And if I'm not able to, or if we're not able to answer them right now, then of course we will certainly get back with the answer. So you want to definitely make sure that you put them in the comment sections. We definitely want to hear from you. We definitely want to make sure that we are doing those things that are that's giving you the opportunity to be able to get your questions answered, and also give you the opportunity to be able to hopefully learn something that you may not have known, or that you may have known already, but you're able to kind of look at it in a different way, because there's nothing better to me than actually being able to see something that you thought you knew in one particular light, and somebody says something that makes you look at it in a totally different way, and you get a new perspective on it, and you can actually say, wow, I never thought of it that way. And now that you think of it that way, you can actually do something even more with it than what you thought you could do. So I like when that happens to me. So hopefully that'll be one of the things that can happen to those of you that are listening tonight. So we hope that you will get something. We hope that you'll gain something. We hope that you will be able to do something with the information and the resources that we give to you this evening. So we're going to get started. I want to thank everybody for joining us. My name is Leroy McKenzie Jr. I am the president and CEO of J&F Enterprises, which is a distribution, publishing, and business consulting firm located in Baltimore, Maryland. And what we do is we provide book publishing products and services, as well as business consulting services for individuals that are looking to either write a book, or who have authors who have already written a book but are looking to gain more exposure, do more branding, as well as businesses and organizations that are already in business but are looking to gain more exposure, do more branding, and then those aspiring entrepreneurs. Because as you know, or may not know, but that's one of the things that I am passionate about, as well as Black Professional Men is passionate about, is bringing to you information and resources that you can use in order to be able to take your business, take you to that next level. So we work with individuals, and we work with other organizations that are looking to improve and impact the community in a great and positive way. So I do want to take this opportunity real quick to have the president of Black Professional Men to kind of just say hello, give Black Professional Men, give you all a little bit of background and information on BPM, who they are, what they do, and just the phenomenal stuff that they do here and in the community, because it's a great organization that I'm a part of and that I wholeheartedly believe in. And what they do, what we do, and what we try to achieve here, not only in our city, but serve as a blueprint for what other men's organizations can do in their cities as well. So I want to introduce everybody to Brother Hassan Diggs, who y'all probably, hopefully, are familiar with. But if you don't know, now you know. And I'm gonna let him talk a little bit about Black Professional Men. So good evening, sir.
Hey, thank you. Hassan Diggs from Black Professional Men. So our mission is to ensure the future of African American males. And we believe strongly there's a simplistic way to do that. Stronger man makes a stronger family, which makes a stronger community.
Absolutely.
We believe in it takes a team to accomplish everything. So we always are looking to collaborate with like-minded organizations to help everybody accomplish their goals.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about this evening is collaborations, sponsorships, and partnerships, and just how important they, the part that they play in being a part of your brand, and how you should how that should be incorporated in your brand, and how you use partnerships, sponsorships, and collaborations to be able to grow your brand, because it should be a mutual beneficial agreement, mutual beneficial partnership that you go into to be able to not only help your organization, your company, but also the other part of that partnership collaboration as well. So we want to thank you for that. Hey, brother, real quick for the men that may be listening, can you just tell them a little how they can connect with BPM, and then when the general meetings are that we have?
All right. So our general body meetings are on the second Wednesday of every month. Right now we are meeting at Morgan State in the business building. Our meetings are from 6 to 8. However, if you go to our website and look under events, you can see the many activities that we have to kind of meet an individual where they are. So if you are an entrepreneur and you want to be around other entrepreneurs trying to increase their profitability, we have programs for you. Right? If you are a person who wants to enhance their workforce development path, we have activities for you. If you are somebody who just want to be around positive people moving forward, we have activities for you. So, like I said, we have something that can meet an individual where they are.
Absolutely. And for those that aren't familiar with the organization, like Hassan mentioned, this organization has so many things that are going on. This being one of them, the brand new development series that we came up with to be able to assist not only the business and organization members of BPM, but also to broaden it out and the other other businesses that are out there and that are looking to be able to just grow themselves, other entrepreneurs or even aspiring entrepreneurs that are looking to grow. This is something that BPM offers or is offering that assists the community in being stronger and being better. And what better way to do that than to be around other like-minded individuals? That the organization is bringing you this, this kind of information that not necessarily may get it from anywhere else. But this is one of the things that Black Professional Men thought it not a bad thing to be able to partner with JNF Enterprises and to bring this, knowledge and information and resources to you so that you can be better and do better in your business and your community and all of those things. So that's just a little bit about who both of us are, what we do, and just to let you know a little bit about us and our backgrounds and things. And we'll repeat this before we go. The contact information where you can go to be able to find more information about BPM, where you can find more information about JNF Enterprises. But we'll get into this evening, kind of like our topic for this evening, and that's the Brand You, which is actually the title of the series, and what we're going to be talking about tonight: branding and the importance of branding, the strategies that you should have in place in order to be able to do strategic planning, branding, and also to do successful branding, because you have a lot of companies that don't necessarily understand what branding is, or how to effectively incorporate branding into what it is that you do. So we're going to be talking we're going to be talking about that tonight, those strategies. We're going to give you those strategies just in a little bit. But I want to start off just by defining branding and to give people an understanding of what branding is. And branding is nothing more than what people say about you, what people think about you when you're not around. If you think about certain companies and you think about what they do, what comes to mind when you think about that particular company? That's what branding is. If I were to say Nike to you, most people would think, just do it. They would think about just do it as the slogan necessarily, and then you think of the swoosh. If I showed you the swoosh, which is the check mark, show you the swoosh, you would associate that with Nike. If I said if I showed you the golden arches, the golden arches, you would think about McDonald's. If I said it, you could have it your way, you would think about Burger King. If I said something like Xerox, you would think about copiers. You would think about papers. If I talked about Marriott, if I talked about Hilton, these are certain companies that you think about. But when you think about them from a branding standpoint, you have a certain expectation of who they are, what they do, and the products and services that they offer to you. That's nothing more than branding. And there are some companies that are awesome at it. There's some companies that work very hard at their brands and have a clear understanding of how to effectively brand themselves, how to effectively think about themselves. When you think about, I know when I think about branding, I think about speakers. I think about Les Brown, and I think about his thing is, what does he say? Miss Brown's baby boy, I think he says. But that's kind of his tagline that he has with himself. When you think about Les Brown, you automatically say Miss Brown's baby boy. And because he's incorporated that into who he is as a speaker, and even as a business. So branding, you want to make sure that you have a core understanding of who you are, what your business represents. Now, just to give you an example, the example for JNF Enterprises, my company, it is my brand is to enlighten, empower, and impact. Those are the three things that JNF Enterprises represents. So when you think about my brand, those are the three things that I specifically target for you to think about when you think of anything that's associated with my company, JNF Enterprises. It has to have those three elements to it. It must enlighten you, it must empower you, and it must impact you. And what that is that it must teach you something, it must equip you with something, and then it must impact you to want to do something. So that's what my brand is. That's the JNF brand. Black professional men, as Brother Hassan said, is ensuring the future of the African American male. That's what they do. That's what Black professional men does. So everything that Black professional men is associated with is to ensure the future of the African American male. and the projects, any projects that Black professional men are associated with, any partnerships that Black professional men are associated with, it has that particular branding that is associated with it. You know that when you deal with Black professional men, you're going to deal with something that deals with the future, ensuring the future of the African American male. And your brand shouldn't be associated with something that has nothing to do with your company. You have to be very careful to what you attach your brand, to attach your business, your brand to, and even yourself. Because when people see you, they associate you with your business, but also with your brand and who you are when you think about it. So all of those things, when it comes to branding, you have to understand that definition, and that's going to be one of the things that if you're right now, you want to write down, you want to think about, what does your company represent? And I'll put it like this: each company should have a culture. What is the culture of your business? What is it that you want to not only infuse in those that will work for you or that are working for you, but then also what the business world and others that will buy your products and services, what they think about when they think about you? What kind of culture do you create, and that you have at the core of your business? So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure that you understand what your culture is. What is it that you represent as a business? What do you stand for? What is it that your business stands for? What is it that you want people to think about, that they first think about when they think of your business? So that's the definition of what a brand is, or what branding is. Because a lot of people, as I mentioned, don't really understand what branding is. And the second thing is people get mixed up when they talk about when they talk about or think about branding and marketing. They think of those as being the same thing, but it's not. Branding and marketing are two separate things. Branding is what you want people to think about you, your business, your corporation, and everything like that. But marketing is showing your particular target market what you have to offer and why it is that they should be buying your products or service from you. What is it that what problem is it that you are solving for them? That's what marketing does. Marketing says to someone, here's a problem, here's the answer that we have to that particular problem, and here's how we can solve that for you. So when you understand the difference between branding and marketing, and even I'm going to add another one to that, is sales. When you add sales to it, sales is nothing more than the transaction. Once you have the target market, they understand that you have a particular answer to their problem. They see that you have an answer to their problem. They say, wow, I want to go out and I want to purchase that from you. So that's the distinction between those three elements of your business: sales, marketing, and branding. They intertwine, but at the same time, they are distinctly different. So you want to make sure that you understand that there is a distinct difference between marketing, branding, and sales. So for those of you that are listening, you can write that down. Define what your market is, but also define what your brand is, but also understand your marketing, how you're going to market to those individuals that you are the answer for. And then sales, which is showing them why they should buy your product, your service from you as opposed to someone else. And when you can do that clearly and distinctly, then people understand, and you understand exactly who you are, who your target market is, and then also whether or not they fit your criteria, and then also whether or not you fit their criteria or they fit your criteria. As far as being a match, a good match for what it is that you have to do. And you have to understand that as a business, that's what you do. Even when we get into the different strategies, and we'll talk about that. And the first strategy we're going to be talking about is partnerships. You have to have a clear understanding of what I just mentioned to you about defining your brand, understanding your market, and understanding your market. And being able to market to them, because that's going to determine or be a part of the determination of who you partner with. The partnerships that you develop. You don't want to go into, you are a mechanic shop where you fix cars, but you're partnering with somebody who doesn't have anything to do with with cars. So you want to make sure that your partnerships line up, and the beginning of that is by defining your brand, like I just mentioned, understanding who you are and what you represent as far as your business and your brand culture. What is it that you want people to think about, and then also the your marketing aspect of it, which is how are you showing that you fit with that individual, fit with those individuals that that you're going after with your particular product and service that you offer. So once you've done those two things, then you can go into your strategy one, which is the partnerships. And I call it three things: partnerships, collaborations, which Hassan just talked about, and then sponsorships. Those three kind of intertwine, or they line up together. And you have to think of it, think of your brand in those three those three ways. What partnerships can you develop? What collaborations can you do? And then even what sponsorships are going to be beneficial for you and for the the other organization that you want to partner with. So those are three important things. When you think about sponsorships, when you think about collaborations, when you think about your partnerships and who you should partner with, you want to think about the vision of that particular organization. Does it match up with yours? Is it in alignment with what you represent? Trust me, one of the big no-nos in branding is being connected with somebody who has nothing. One, like I mentioned, has nothing to do with what your particular business is, but then also the vision that you have, where your visions don't line up. They're thinking one thing, and you're thinking a totally different thing. So you really want to hone in on those partnerships, those collaborations, and those sponsorships. I know me specifically, one of my assignments this year for my business was to have more partnerships, to begin to do more partnerships, to do more collaborations, and even sponsorships, so that I would be able to enter or be able to gain more access to different get exposure to different different organizations, different people that I would not ordinarily have had I not had those partnerships or even those sponsorships. Now, Hassan, did you want to talk a little bit about sponsorships and the importance of them and what that means to BPM and what we're doing this year? Oh, I don't know if he can hear me. Can you hear me, Hassan? Did he freeze up? I think he must have froze up, but we'll come back to him. But what I'll say is, you want to think about the partnerships, you want to think about collaborations, you want to think about sponsorships. I'll start with the partnerships first. One of the things that I did with my specifically with partnerships was I actually sought out different companies that I could partner with that were that had the same vision that I had, that were wanted to accomplish kind of like the same things. We didn't necessarily have to be doing the same thing, but we were doing something that was mutually beneficial. And I'll give you an example of that. One of the partnerships that I developed this year was with a with a web designer, web developer, a promotional company. And what they do is they actually design websites, they do book covers and all of those things. So when we got together and we talked about the different things that each of us did, me doing publishing, I needed someone who could do book covers. You know, I needed someone that could do book covers. I needed someone that could do websites. I needed someone that offered promotional material that we could have done. So in going out and doing that, I partnered with someone who did those exact same those things, but also not only do they do those things, but they had the same mindset that I have when it came to wanting to impact positively people and the lives that we would be encountering throughout the work that we were doing. So that partnership has worked out just great between us, because the any referrals that she has or they would send my way, and any referrals that I have, of course, I'm sending them their way. These are the first individuals that I'm going to when I have a project that I'm doing, as far as books are concerned, as far as websites are concerned, as far as promotional material is concerned. This is who I, say this is who I partner with. This is who I work with. So whenever I'm doing any projects, this is what they do. I knew what I brought to the table. They knew what they brought to the table as far as the partnership. And we were able to come to a mutual agreement on what they would do, what I would do, and then how we work together in everything that we, the different things that we do. So that partnership has done great, has worked out tremendously for me. And why has it worked out well for me? Because, and for them, it's worked out for us because we both sat down and we looked at our businesses, we looked at our vision, we looked at our purpose, we looked at our mission for what we were doing individually, and then we understood that what we could do collectively was nothing more than beneficial. And it has grown their business because they get attached to my network and the people that I may be associated with, and then I benefit from it because I get attached to the business and individuals that they're connected with, and they get exposed to me. And had that partnership not come together, then neither one of us would have had these people that we weren't attached to. They wouldn't be connected with us. So that's how partnerships work. And that's that's what one of the things that you really want to hone in on and think about as an entrepreneur. How can you use partnerships to grow and expand your business? The next thing I'll talk about is sponsorships. Sponsorships work out very well as well. But with sponsorships, you want to develop a checklist for yourself. And you want to once you develop that checklist for the things that you're looking for in a sponsorship or in a partnership, in a sponsorship as well, and then a collaboration, because you want to make sure that you have this checklist, and your checklist should just include the things that you're looking for. Does their vision match up with yours? Does their mission match up with yours? Does their purpose match up with yours? Does their product match up with yours? Or the service, does their product or services match up with what it is that you're doing? And when you can go down your list to be able to decide whether or not this will be a good sponsorship, it'll be a good partnership or good collaboration, you can look at your checklist and say, wow, okay, this is something that I believe that can work for them, it can work for me, work for us, and all of those things. And sponsorships, you really want to think about who you sponsor, where you sponsor, and how you sponsor. Sponsorships are nothing more than and they work in a couple different ways. You can sponsor an event yourself as a company, or you can be a sponsor at an event. And if you're going to be a sponsor at an event, then you want to make sure that the event, one, is is beneficial for you, and that it's hitting the target market that you're trying to gain attention from. You don't want, in your sponsorships, you want to be strategic about it. You don't want to just be sponsoring an event just to be sponsoring it. You want to be strategic about it, because you want to make sure that after the sponsorship, you're better off after the sponsorship than you were before you had the sponsorship. So you want to make sure that going into 2019, because we're heading into the fourth quarter of 2018. So from this point forward, going into 2019, you should be now thinking about what sponsorships you want to have going into 2019. What are those events that you want to be associated with? What are those businesses that you want to be connected to? In all that you do. And that's part of why you do sponsorships, because you want to be associated with certain organizations and certain causes and things that are going on. So that's why you do sponsorships. Just to give you an example of mine, one of the organizations that I am that I've been a part of is the Women Offering Wealth. And they've had several events this year that my company, JNF Enterprises, has been a sponsor at. Why am I a sponsor at these events? Because what Women Offering Wealth, the events that they've had, one, I believe in what they were, the events that they were doing, but I also believed in the information that they were giving out, the attachment to the community that they have, the things that they were trying to achieve in the community. And all of that goes into, like I said, do you have a common vision for what it is that you're trying to do? And myself, JNF Enterprises, being associated with Women Offering Wealth, it was a great opportunity for me to not only to be a sponsor at one of the events, but because I believed in what they were doing. So you want to make sure that you're strategic about those sponsorships that you do, and that you want to be a part, because you're going to be attached to it. You're going to be attached to it, getting your name out there, getting your brand out there, getting your brand associated with certain organizations, getting associated with certain events and all of that. Another sponsorship that I just had, one of my business associates, she had it's called Mogul Empowerment Conference out in Arizona. Now, I wasn't there, but my company, JNF Enterprises, was one of the sponsors. I was one of the sponsors of the event. Why? Because I believed in, one, the event that she was putting on, and what they were doing, but then two, the impact that it was having on those individuals that would be at the conference. And I knew what they were going to be, what they were going to come away with the conference from. So I wanted to make sure that my company was associated with something of that caliber, something of that, that level of excellence that they had. And that way it gave me more exposure to an audience that I would not ordinarily be able to be associated with, but because I was a sponsor at the event, I was a sponsor for the event. Now my logo, my name, all of the things that my brand that JNF Enterprises is representing was out there, and I wasn't even there. I wasn't even at the event. So that's how sponsorships can benefit you. That's how sponsorships can work for you. Even the great things that we talked about that Black Professional Men is doing. We have so many events that are going on, and there are sponsorship opportunities. You have a great opportunity to be a sponsor, and they offer that as members, as a member of BPM. Your company can be a sponsor for an event that we have. So those things can benefit you when you're attached to an organization, when you see you see that you have a common vision, you see that you have a common mission, and what it is that you're trying to do. That's where connecting with business, with organizations, with causes, and all of those things that you can be a part of, just to show you how powerful brands are and how powerful sponsorships are. I know people may be familiar with all of the things that are going on with that had happened with Colin Kaepernick, with taking a knee and all those things, and the Nike actually backing him in his campaign for what he, for his cause and everything like that. But not only was it powerful for Nike to put him as the face of their Just Do It campaign, but as a result of that, a direct result of that, now he has the backing of Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company recognized what Nike as a brand was doing and said, wow, okay, I think we need to be associated with that. And they decided to put their brand and their brand and who they were as a corporation behind that same his same cause. So it's very important how you use your brand, and then also who you associate your brand with. Trust me, most of us know who Nike is. Most of us know. There's not too many of us that don't know who Nike and Ford are. And those two brands say a whole lot when it comes to brand recognition, when it comes to being out there. So them being sponsors for Colin Kaepernick and his cause are huge. Are huge. So that's how powerful your brand can be, and how being associated with certain brands you can be. So the next thing that we're going to talk about after your brand, after your sponsorships, and after your collaborations, and that's kind of, to me, that's your foundation of your brand, and building a successful brand, of having a strategy in place. So to me, that's your first strategy, is building partnerships, building sponsorships, building collaborations. That's how you build your brand. That's how you're going to build out. But the second strategy is your technology. What technology are you using? What technology are you? This is the 21st century. And here we are on using technology right now to affect what we do. Not even 5 years ago. I don't think Zoom was around 5 years ago. If it was, wasn't something that I was using 5 years ago, yet alone 10 years ago. So, but technology, how are you using technology to effectively grow your brand? How are you using technology to grow and expand your brand in a big way? Using Facebook Live, which this will be on as well. All of those things. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So, that is huge. How you're using technology, how you use technology to brand yourself.
Do you have any, how do you put this? So when it comes to branding, can you provide an example of why you would use technology as part of your branding strategy?
Wow. I'll give you a perfect example, and it's a personal one. When I was talking to my marketing consultant, and I was working with her, and she gave me the assignment of posting to social media 3 times a day. She said, I want you to post 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and then in the evening. And she said, your morning, she didn't really give me what it had to be about, but I kind of worked my way with doing it this way. And this is how it benefited me. It has benefited me. In the morning, the posts that I do are motivational. In the afternoon, it has to do with my business, whatever it has to do with my business, whether like I did the video for this particular event that we had coming up with the brand new development series. I did a video for that. And then, so I'll do different things if it's something that I have going on with my business, that gets done in the afternoon. And then in the evening, I do what's called my evening conversation. And I just take, usually what I take is anything that has to do with nothing, but I kind of have like this competition thing where people have to choose something. Like tonight, after I get off this webinar, I'm posting the evening conversation is going to be, I have two movies. And the two movies that I am pitting against each other is the Five Heartbeats and Dreamgirls. And it's which movie was better, or which movie did people like better. And so those are the three types of posts that I do. And what that has done for me as a business, people are like, wow, one, the motivational one gets people motivated in the morning. They're like, wow, I really like your post. It really, it really helps me to be motivated, and everything like that. Because usually I put a picture or a couple of pictures with the motivational post. The thing in the afternoon, and I try to associate either pictures or videos to go along with it, because that assists you with people getting to know you. And then even the one in the evening is always a picture with it. So what that has done, that's grown my business, because people see those posts that I'm doing, and it's helped my brand to be able to grow. And then even if I'm at an event that I do, that I'm a part of.
I get that part. So, but what I'm asking is that. What was your original goal before you started doing social media?
Oh, well, and you mean as far as why did I go to social media? What made me start doing social media?
So there's a reasonable expectation that you have a goal to reach a certain amount of consumers.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And or have your products and services exposed to a certain amount of consumers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm assuming you had a goal of that sort.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so understanding with marketing, it takes 4 to 7 impressions for people to catch on.
Right.
Now, social media, it kind of clouds that, because people are on social media for different reasons.
Absolutely.
Or the same person is on social media at different times of the day for different reasons.
Right.
So they can be on, like if I can be on Facebook, and I seldomly post on Facebook personally. Like I may do a personal post very seldom on Facebook. But I go there and I look at it, and it just helps me escape to a nothing world, right? But then with LinkedIn, when I look at LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn for kind of specific reason, because LinkedIn is more of a business type,
right? Exactly.
Type thing. Now, don't do Twitter, don't do Instagram, but can imagine, when you go there, you also go there to escape. Now, there's times I go on Facebook and I go there specifically just to forward posts that I know that was posted about Black professional men. And I go and I look for them and I forward them, and then I go about my business.
Right.
It'll be things that I see then that are about business that might catch my eye.
Right. Absolutely.
But when I'm on there for to escape, I don't look at business stuff.
So, but go ahead.
So I was saying that to say to you, or to ask to you in this example, what was the goal that going to social media was satisfying?
Well, the goal for my goal for me, as far as like the number of people that I wanted to be able to reach, honestly, I knew I was going to reach probably a certain amount of people on through Facebook, because I use four. Um, my social media includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Right? Those are my four platforms that I touch on. Don't use out of those four, I probably use the least LinkedIn, but the other three, because I have them connected through through Hootsuite and through the way that I post, it can disseminate the information all at the same time to those different networks. And my goal was I wanted to be able to grow my exposure, let's say by by like 5 or 10%, right? Throughout the year, and 5-10% increments. And the only way that I was going to be able to do that is by being consistent with what my marketing consultant told me to do. She showed me, hey, if you do this consistently, the 3 times a day, then your brand will grow by that 5%, by that 10% that you wanted to grow. Um, as far as the exposure goes, and even with the business that you do, even growing your business, because as a result of the brand exposure, people then want to start doing business with you. And you mentioned something very something key that you talked about. When you go onto your social media platforms, you're going on there for a specific reason. You're going on getting off, right? And it's almost like going to the store. Most men, when we go to the store, we know what we want to go get. We're going to go get it, and then we're going home, or we're going, on to the next place. And that was one of the reasons why she told me that you do it 3 times, do the postings 3 times a day, because the same person that may be on social media in the morning isn't going to be the same person necessarily that's going to be there in the afternoon. The one that's there in the afternoon isn't going to be necessarily the same one that's there in the evening. And like you, they may have a particular reason why they're on there. They may not be looking to do business. They may not be looking to be motivated. So the reasoning may be different for why somebody's on. And if you're doing that constant rotation, then you're going to you're going to get more exposure because of the different times that you're doing it. Like you talked, like you mentioned, when you're on, when you're going looking for specific things, you may not be on there. Like you said, let's say you go looking at 8-9 o'clock at night. You're not necessarily looking to be motivated at 8-9 o'clock at night. So, anything that's posted that may be motivational isn't necessarily going to catch your attention. You may be looking for something business oriented, and you're more than likely going to be doing that in the afternoon. You might do it, and you might do it in the morning. And you might be doing that at any part of your day, just kind of depending. So if I have something that's kind of on on my page, or that may be in the news feed that may catch you, you'll be like, oh, let me check that out. And that's how that's happened with some people.
So let me ask you this question here. So this is more or less from a scientific standpoint, right?
Okay.
So when I was going through my master's program, they had this. I went through statistics, right?
Uh-huh.
And they came up with 95% and a 98% percentile. Are you familiar with those?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So 98%, the 98 percentile basically means that with the marketing, you're going to get a 2% return.
Okay. Right. Exactly. Okay. Mm-hmm.
On whatever your marketing is, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the only thing you have control of is what that 2% is based on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like with VPM, our goal is to be able to have 100,000 people on our network.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So our 2% is based on 100,000.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So right now, when I first came on with BPM in 2013, our network was 162 people
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
in the network.
Mm-hmm.
In our email, we got over 4,000 people in our email. On
Okay.
LinkedIn, we got over 6,000 people.
Okay.
Facebook group, we got like 1,700, I think. Facebook page, I think we're at maybe 1,300.
Okay.
But then we also are able to use Kendrick's Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
He has 15,000. We also use one of his email platforms. He has an additional 8,000.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, so that all adds up. Now,
Right. Exactly.
the reason why 100,000 is the number is because we will be able to monetize our network
Mm-hmm.
at 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's that concept of if you accomplish A, you accomplish B. So if you accomplish A, which is to be able to market to a large group of people and have exposure to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the purpose of business, regardless if it's nonprofit or for profit,
Mm-hmm.
it is to make a profit. And
Right.
so once the organization reaches that 100,000 network threshold, we will be able to monetize that and then
Mm-hmm.
make where our network generates revenue for it. And all of the tools that we use to generate that, we then will be able to reap the benefits.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So from that standpoint, was the basis of the question I was asking, what was the goals that you had that made you specifically go to social media?
Well, I knew that social media was going to, like you just mentioned, it was going to give me the exposure that to people that I would not be able to meet you on any other platform. That's what that does for you. It gives you that 100,000 that you just used as an example. That number, your 100,000, is where you're trying to be. Now, I'll give you just one particular platform that I use, which is my YouTube channel. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
know if I want to get to 1,000 subscribers just on YouTube, I know that I have to do certain things to direct people one to my YouTube channel, and then not just get them there, but to get them to subscribe. Same thing like you just talked about with Facebook. I'm at 5,000 there. With
Mm-hmm.
even with Instagram, there's another 2,000 there. So those numbers will get me to that ultimate, that I guess the big number like you have, which is 100,000. Mine isn't quite that big yet. I'm not there to where I want to reach, where I can say my goal is 100,000. I want to first, let's say, let me get to, not 100,000, but let's say 70,000. I want to get to 70,000 total.
Right.
Now is that doable? Yes, but that means that I have to do certain things like we just talked about, like I just talked about earlier, that are going to give you that kind of exposure. You only get that kind of exposure with partnerships, with collaborations, with sponsorships, because that's how you're able to reach a great number of people at one specific time. You know,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
that's because the name of the game is, and I know you know this, Hassan, the name of the game, it's a numbers game, because you just talked about that 2%, 98 to 2%. That is so true, because for every 100 people, that means for every 100 people that you talk to, you may only get 2 that will buy your product or service.
No. You will only get 2 that are interested.
Right. Okay, well, that are interested. Yeah,
So that makes that 2 a whole different 100%.
right. You know,
And
so just I mean, think about that. Just from that small number, we just used 100. Now take that to where you talked about 100,000.
right.
To that
So
100,000, you may, like you said, you may out of that 100,000, you may only get 200 that think about saying, you know what, I want to use BPM's products or services that they offer, or I want to use JNF Enterprises products and services that they offer.
yeah, so I think one of the things that we should, or you should consider also sharing with the audience, is the call to action.
Mm.
So in 2003, I started a newspaper, right? And I was in Atlanta, and I was like, okay, rolling out, they did 50,000. They did 50,000 newspapers a year. No, a month. They did 50,000 newspapers a month. And I read their marketing kit, and
Okay.
they had some interesting words, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't use that they had 50,000 papers read.
Okay.
Say they had 50,000 people that was reading their papers.
Mm-hmm.
They said they had 50,000 papers circulated.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, do you know what secondhand marketing is?
Well, it's kind of, secondhand is just kind of, it's not, it's kind of let's say a back way of where it's not your primary source of being able to get your product or service out there.
No. Secondhand marketing is marketing that when I tell you something, it's
Mm-hmm.
percentage of you telling somebody else.
Somebody else, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they figured in their secondhand marketing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is smart. Mm-hmm.
Into their pitch.
Okay.
So, so you can say, let's say their secondhand marketing was 25 to 50%.
Which is secondhand marketing is just another way. Correct me if I'm wrong. Another way of saying referrals.
Yes, but it's referrals of the information that one received.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like your secondhand marketing of your, I'm sorry, today's age of secondhand marketing is comments, likes, and shares.
Okay, right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But in 2003, it's a reasonable expectation that if you put something in rolling out, it may get exposed to 7,500 people
Mm-hmm.
by that definition. So then when they ask you for $500 to advertise in it per month, there's a reasonable expectation that may be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was 15 years ago.
Right.
And so that $500 is not what people charge even more to post social media posts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I say all that to say that I think part of the branding element or part of the branding strategy you may want to share is having people account for that secondhand marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people don't understand the impact of what they do. So on social media, like a Kendrick, he won't take any pictures with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
We
Absolutely.
all know that Kendrick, he does enjoy a beverage, but he won't take any pictures with alcohol because he understands, hey, number one, you can't take that picture down. Number two, he doesn't know when that picture is shared, who is it going to be seen on and
Absolutely.
what
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays a role, the secondhand marketing element to branding.
Absolutely. And I think that for those that are listening, um, that understand what Hassan, how important what Hassan just said, and what people do need to understand that how you can use how you use social media in order to be able to effectively increase your secondhand marketing, because it by having I was watching this YouTube today, and it's a young her name is just Jess Hilarious. She's actually a comedian from Baltimore, right? I didn't know who she was, but I just happened to watch this. I was watching the video. She was on the Breakfast Club, and they show their videos, and she was talking about her the number of followers that she has. And so after I watched the video, of course, I went to her, went to her social media sites to check out who she was and everything like that. And she evidently has been, is blowing up big time. Is blowing up big time on TV, because she's a part of a show that's on Fox now, and she's done, she does stand up all over the place and stuff. And I was just like, wow, I didn't know who she was, but she has, to look at her followers, she had I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I think it was something like 120. Over 120,000, maybe even I think followers. So I mean, her following was large, was very large. Now, just from that video that I watched of her, like you just talked about, I then became that 2% that says, "Wow, let me look at who this is." And now, let's say she goes on to be in a movie. Wow, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go go probably, maybe support that movie. One, because, she's from Baltimore. So it's like, hey, you want to represent those people who come from your hometown and stuff like that. But then two, that exposure she got from just being on that show probably garnered her even more, followers and everything like that. And even, I should say, even more supporters, because people will then go out to support the movies that she's going to be in or watch the shows that she's going to be in, which grows her brand and who she is. And she then becomes more marketable as an entertainer, because her name grows with that. So understand that power that you have with that secondhand marketing that you just talked about, Hassan, and how effective that can be. That's a very that's a very powerful thing, and understand how how we can use our platforms, how we can use technology, and I'm gonna put it like that, technology, because it's not just, to me, technology. Secondhand marketing is not just your social media, but it's also your website. It's actually also your the YouTube channel that you hopefully will have as well, and all of these things that we're talking about when it comes to branding are connected, because if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a Facebook page, if you have a Twitter, if you have a LinkedIn page, all of those things that you are doing posts to, that you're doing disseminating information from, people will come to those platforms that you have, and then hopefully gain more information about you, your products, and your services. When they actually do that. So understand how technology works with your with your partnerships and with your partnerships and your sponsorships, and how that gives you exposure. Because if you are doing a sponsorship, then the event that you are sponsoring will more than likely have a website. Will actually have a have a page that people can go to, or social media page that they can go to, and everywhere that they post, people will see who it is that you are as a sponsor. So understand how powerful that is, and how the technology ties into it, into your partnerships, how technology ties into your sponsorships. And then that'll lead me into the next strategy, which is the exposure. And we just talked about it. How do you gain exposure? If your goal, and this is one of the next thing that I want you all to write down too, is what's your, like Hassan just asked me, what is your social media goal? You should think about how many, how many, if you're on Facebook, how many Facebook friends do you want to have? If you're on Twitter, how many followers do you want to have? If you're on Instagram, how many followers do you want to have? If you're on YouTube, how many subscribers do you want to have? And
well, I think also, but so social media is one thing, but then you also want to look at the population. So for each generation, there's certain generations that social media can reach, and certain generations that social media would not reach.
Absolutely. So I
feel like some businesses, like a lot of the younger business owners, feel like, I think they make the mistake that they feel like their customers are like them. Market to themselves versus to market to the demographic of the services that they provide.
Right, and that goes to what I was talking about at the beginning, is defining who your target market is, understanding who you are as a brand. Who are you? Because if you know who you are as a brand, then you understand who it is that you're marketing to.
But I think who you are as a brand is not real accurate, because most businesses want to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm 25 years old, right, and I have a business that does consulting, right, and I think that, hey, all of my customers are around my age, but how much disposable income do people around your age have?
Absolutely.
So then it goes into, okay, well, what is my ideal customer? Well,
Absolutely.
your ideal customer may have $1 disposable income per month. Well, if that's your ideal customer, then what's the profile for that ideal customer who has, that kind of disposable income? Well, it's probably not going to be somebody who's making $20,000 a year.
Right.
And so I think a lot of the younger business owners go wrong because they don't properly identify their target audience, or properly identify their business goal, identify their target audience.
And see, the key is, it makes perfect sense, because you have to, and that's for those aspiring entrepreneurs that are listening. And even for those seasoned entrepreneurs who should be on a year, or for each year, you should be looking at who your target market is. And the key thing is what you just said, Hassan, was doing a profile. You want to give your target market you want to make them an actual person. Would they look like, they look like this, they spend like this, they work here, they have this amount of disposable income. I know that they're between this particular age category, When you have a drawn out checklist, just like I talked about, having that checklist for your event, whether or not you want to be a sponsor for an event, or you want to partner with anyone, you want to do the same thing for your target market. as a brand, you want to make sure that you have a checklist. You want to do a profile of who it is that you're actually going after. If they make $50,000 a year, if they make $100,000 a year, where do they live at? What age category are they in? When you can actually give that target market and give them an actual, make them an actual person that would walk up to you or that will pick up the phone to call you. What is it that they look like? When you can be that descriptive, and understanding who your target market is, then like you said, you don't have the mistake of being, if you're young and saying, oh, my target market is only between the ages of 25 and 35. Because or 25 and 30, because I know 25 and 30 years olds aren't making $100,000 a year. Don't have a disposable income of, let's say $5,000-$10,000 a year, something like that, or whatever number that are going to be attached to it, that they're going to be using. So that,
exactly. Hey, did you I just sent you a message. Did you see it?
No. How'd you send it? Because I'm sure it came through, but
if you look at participants.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to click on chats.
Okay, yeah. Okay, hold on. If it'll stay up. There we go.
Did you get it?
I just see, I clicked on participants. I just see,
but at the
I don't
bottom,
see anything.
You should see chat.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Chat and invite. All right.
Okay. Okay. No, I got it. I see.
I know that you're recording this, so you're going to show it later, but just wanted to let you know that.
Okay. Yeah. No. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I talked about gave the sponsorships and I talked about. I didn't necessarily give a definition, but I talked about the importance of sponsorship.
Second message, all right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. So. Because and once you're gone, and then I'm going to be just a little bit, because I have a couple more that I'm going to go over, and then I will be then we're going to be in this session, and we're going to have the next series will be next month, the third Monday of October. We'll be doing the same thing. We'll be back with, of course, a new message, a new topic that we're going to be talking about. But tonight we're talking about branding and the importance of the strategies of branding, and then how important it is. So the first thing that we talk about, just to do a quick review, I know he's gone. The next thing is partnerships. The first thing we talked about was partnerships, understanding what partnerships are, understanding what collaborations are, and then understanding what sponsorships are. Now, understand sponsorships are where you as a business are getting behind a campaign or getting behind a particular event that someone is, either another business is putting on or a particular individual is putting on, and you decide to back that particular person or that particular event with, whether it's monetarily, whether it's through the knowledge that you're going to be sharing, whether it's through resources that you're going to be sharing, whatever that sponsorship looks like. There are different sponsorship packages that that people use, so you're able to actually do it different ways in that. So you can take those sponsorships. The first strategy we talked about was partnerships, sponsorships, and collaborations. The second thing that we were talking about was technology, how to effectively use technology, how to be able to looking at the numbers behind technology and what you use technology for. The next one was exposure. What kind of exposure are you gaining by using technology and by using technology, using partnerships, using sponsorships, and all of those and sponsorships and collaborations. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is having an events calendar and having an events calendar and then a calendar of events. And there's a difference in the two. An events calendar is something that you, as a company, as a corporation, that you should have, that you put on different events that you put on, and you can then have sponsors for. Depending on the kind of event that you're putting on or that you're having, you can have different sponsors, someone who believes in what it is that the event that you're putting on and wants to support it in that kind of way. So having an events calendar like this BPM has an events calendar where you can go onto the website and you can see all of the events that BPM is either putting on or are a part of in what they do to effectively be a part of the community. So that's the events calendar. Now, the calendar of events is your events that you as an organization are attending. Now, I talked about partnerships, I talked about sponsorships and collaborations. That's going to filter into the calendar, your calendar of events, because you're going to have events that you go to. You're going to have events that you that you put on, that you schedule to be at. I call these my be in the room calendar. My be in the room events. So you can write that down. Be in the room calendar. That's your be in the room event. And your calendar of events should be just that. Those events that you must be, it's imperative that they're important enough for you to be in the room, because within that room is going to be some corporation, some organization that you can partner with, that you can gain exposure to, that would not ordinarily have the exposure to you had you not been in that room. Many of partnerships, many of collaborations, many of sponsorships have come because of those be in the room events. So you want to make sure that you have those two. That's an events calendar and a calendar of events. So I need you to write those two down. The next thing is just your when to increase your products, when to increase your services. And that's nothing more than understanding if you are at the point where you've grown your business to the point where you want to, you can either add on products or services, excuse me, or the other thing along with that, with the increase of products and services, is where you have products and services that you can add to what it is that you offer to your clients that you already have, where it becomes beneficial for you to offer the next thing that's attached to your product or service that you already do, that will assist your clients that you have in doing more of what it is that they do. Because when you do that, when you increase your products or services or expand it, then you're able to offer your clients or customers more things that they can get from you. And one of the things that I learned being in corporate America and working for the companies that I worked for was they were able to increase what they offered to their clients or customers. Why? Because they expanded the products and services that they offered, and the importance of that, and seeing and understanding that. And when you do that, what you actually do is you actually add an additional line of income for your source of income for your business, because that customer now sees, wow, okay, you offer me this, now you offer me this as well. So okay, cool, I don't have to go somewhere else to get this from somewhere else. I can actually get that product, that's that particular service that I might have had to go get it from somebody else. I can now get that directly from you. Or you see that they have a need, your particular client has a need, and you're able to fill that need by offering them an additional product or service. So that's how you increase whether or not you, or how you determine whether or not you know you can or should increase the products and services that you offer. When you see a need that your clients have, and you kind of will, you'll kind of notice that your clients start to ask you for the same or similar things. Like, wow, okay, I think that's something that I need to be offering to them, and the impact that that can have on you, the impact that it can have on them. And some companies have been great at branding themselves. Why? Because of the products and services that they were able to now increase and be able to offer. And I was talking to one of my Facebook friends about that the other day. I said, yesterday, we were talking about companies that have multiple multiple products and services that cater to specific markets. You have a high clientele market, you have a mid-level clientele market, and you have a lower end clientele market. And when you look at it from that perspective, in being able to brand yourself, then you're able to say, okay, I have multiple markets that I can, that I can go to, or that I market to, that I don't necessarily have just one particular market that I have to stick to. I have a couple of different markets, and it becomes a great business leveraging strategy for you. And it's similar to what they call in this, in the stock industry, stock market, dollar cost averaging, which is where you don't put your money all in one particular stock. You want to have it in multiple stocks. That way, if one particular market is down, the other two will be, are possibly up or hopefully up, and then you may have one that's doing very well, but one that's not doing so well, and all at the same time. It keeps the cash flowing. And when you have multiple products that you can offer to your clients, and or you have like I said, the different tiers of markets that you cater to, then it becomes a cash flow cycle that you created for your particular business. And just to give you an example that I gave, in the hotel market, I used to work for a company called Extended Stay. What Extended Stay did was, Extended Stay was like their mid-level property that they had for people who were staying, of course, for an extended period of time. That's the name, Extended Stay. They were staying for months at a time. They might be staying for a year or something like that, for whatever reason. But they also had the lower, the lower end market that they catered to with the particular hotel brand that they had, and then they had the upper market that they catered to as well. It was three different products that they offered to three different markets, but it was the same product, but in three different markets, because they understood who their target market was. And the key was, they understood who their target market was in each particular brand. They knew that the high end wanted this particular kind of hotel product. They knew that the mid-level wanted this particular kind of hotel product. And they knew that the lower end wanted this kind of hotel product. So they were able to understand who they were talking to, who they were marketing to, and be able to meet those particular needs, or as I say, be the answer to those particular markets for that particular kind of client that they had. So when you do that, you become, you give yourself the ability to be able to be more successful. So that's what you want to do with that. The last thing, or next to the last thing, is promotions. And what you want to do with your promotional aspect is like we just talked about. Part of that has to do with your, how are you getting your brand out there? How are you getting your name out there? Are you doing the sponsorships to get your name out there? Are you doing events that are going to get your name out there? Are you a part of events that will get your name out. What kind of networking are you doing? What kind of network are you doing? And the things is developing your pitch. Whenever you want to promote yourself, you always want to have a 30-second or what they call an elevator pitch, which is how long it takes you to get from one floor to the next floor. You usually have about 30 seconds in order to be able to tell someone who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And that's what your pitch is, and the question that you can ask yourself is, what items have you developed that can be given as a get their attention items? What are you doing? That promotions is about that. What are you going to do, or what are you doing in order to be able to gain the attention of your target market? Because if you've already done the partnerships, if you've done the collaborations, if you've done the sponsorships, now that you have people, you're in the position to be able to get the people. What are you going to do to gain those people's attention so that they know who you are, what you do, and how you do it? And how are you effectively explaining to them that you are the answer to their particular problem and how you solve it? That becomes what your 30-second pitch is. And what is your end goal in your promotion? Why they need your product or service? It should be as Hassan talked about. What is your call to action for them? What is their call to action? What is it that you need them to do to be able to purchase your product or service, to be able to get connected to you, to connect to you? You give them a call to action. You give them something that they have to do. Click here, go here, do this, do that, in order for them to be able to be connected to you. Promotions is about connecting your clients to you. How do you get them engaged with you? How do you get them to now that you've gotten into the position where they can actually see you, but now they see me. Now they know what problem I solve. Now what it is that they have to do in order for me to be able to solve their problem. And that's the sale that we just talked about. And the last thing I'm going to just talk about before we go is the brand you concept, the brand you philosophy, which is your next level is your best level. And understanding that. What's your next step? As an entrepreneur, as an aspiring entrepreneur, what is your next step? If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, then your next step is to sit down and to develop your checklist. Developing your checklist for, for where you are in starting your business. What is it that I need to put into place right now in order for me to be able to, whether it's the business plan, getting my business plan together, whether it's doing my research for my business plan, do I need to do some marketing? Do I have my business plan already together and I'm ready to implement it, but I need to put myself in a position where I can grow where I can actually begin to engage people in the product and services that I offer. Do I need my website? Do I have my website up? Do I need a website up? Do I have my social media platforms out there that I can connect to? What do I need to do in order to be able to get those social media platforms set up? All of those are things that'll get what your next step is. So start thinking about what your next step is. During your yearly maintenance checkup, and this is for those that are already in business. You should be doing your yearly maintenance, your kind of checkup where you go to your business plan and you look at your business plan. What was it that we did well this year? What was it that we need to work on this year? Is our brand saying what we want it to say? If it is, cool. What do we need to work on to get to that next level of branding? If it's not, what are the things that we need to work on in order to be able to get our brand where it is that we want it to be? And I'll repeat this, and I've said this years ago, the beginning of this year. is I developed for my clients. I developed an analysis sheet. And what this analysis sheet was, and part of the analysis sheet was for them to develop at least a minimum of 10 assignments that they wanted to accomplish this year. Not goals, not resolutions, assignments. What were those minimum of 10 things? And you can do more than 10, but what were those 10 things that you wanted to accomplish this year that was going to put you and your brand and your business in a better position by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year? Developing those 10 assignments. So that's the next thing. With your maintenance and your checkup, you should be doing the same thing now, getting ready to do the same thing for 2019. You should be already in the 2019 mode. We're going into the fourth quarter of this year, and this is that finish strong last leg of the year. This is where you, if those of you that are familiar with track and field, you know that last leg, that last 100 yards, that last 200 yards was where you had to kick it in gear. You had, well, not 200 yards, the last 100 yards was where you had to finish strong. In order for you to finish strong, that means you're thinking about where it is that I need to be. What is it that I need to be doing these next 3 months that is going to finish out the year strong, but also what is going to take me into 2019 and make me even stronger. So you want to start formulating those things, taking a look at this year as a year and seeing where you are as far as your branding goals, like Hassan talked about. Did you hit those marks as far as the numbers of the people that you wanted to reach? If your goal was 100,000, did you reach 100,000? If your goal was 75,000, if your goal was 50,000, if it was 25,000, if those numbers aren't there, then what are you going to do? How is it that you can reach those numbers that you are trying to reach? So that's what your yearly maintenance and checkup would be. And then your branding culture, like I talked about earlier, your branding culture is nothing more than what you want people to think about when they think about you. Like I mentioned, with JNF Enterprises, it's enlighten, empower, and impact. Those 3 simple things. That's what we do. We enlighten, we empower, and we impact. Everything that we do gets associated with those things. That's our brand. Our brand is when you think about JNF Enterprises, you're going to think about being enlightened, being empowered, and being impacted. We're going to teach you something. We're going to equip you with something, and then we're going to impact you to do something. Those are 3 things I promise you that our brand brings to you. Whether you are one of our clients or whether you are a business partner, an associate, or a collaboration that we do, or a sponsorship, you must have those 3 elements as a part of what you're doing in your event in order for us to be a part of that, be a part of that event that we're doing. So that's what we got for this evening. I hope this has been something that has given you some knowledge. Hopefully we've given you some knowledge, some information and resources. You can go to the BPM website, check out the other events that we as BPM have going on. I mean, it's a lot, you all, that you can support BPM on. JNF Enterprises, of course, you can go to our website. Please go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm trying to get those the YouTube subscribers up, y'all. So go to the YouTube channel. You can go to our Facebook and social media, JNF Enterprises, at JNF Enterprises on Twitter, at JNF Enterprises, at JNF Enterprises 1 on Twitter, at JNF Enterprises on Instagram. Take a look at all of the products and services that we have. We would be honored to assist you in bringing your vision to reality, because that's what we do. If you have a book that you're looking to write, certainly contact us, connect with us. If you have a book that you're trying to gain more branding or do more branding on, to do more marketing on, connect with us. As far as BPM, there's great events that we have coming up all throughout these the months, and as we say at BPM, we are here to ensure the future of the African American male. So that is what we do on a consistent and constant basis. That's what we want to do. JNF, same way. We are here to impact and influence the community in a great and positive way. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next month, same time, the third Monday of each month. The third Monday of each month right now, the Brand New Development Series. We hope it's been good for you. It's been a pleasure to be with you, and we will see you all next time. So I'm signing off for right now. And as I say, be unstoppable. We're on a mission to make you better by the end of this year than you were at the beginning of this year. We'll talk to you soon.